Hi, welcome to another episode on how to come out of poverty. I welcome you once again, and as I always say, it's interesting to study, it's interesting and powerful, empowering to learn from the Word of God. The wisdom that is in the Bible, that is so rich, that is so amazing when we begin to uncover what God has put together for us in His holy book. Well, in our last episodes and the previous ones, we talked about poverty, we talked about the causes of poverty, the root cause, spiritual causes of poverty. We looked at the physical causes of poverty, and we equally began to talk about how to come out of poverty. And we want to take it a step further today to give you something that you can begin to work on. And this is very powerful. It's something that you can practically, engage and do, and you will surely find your way out of poverty. Now, in our school, you really have to go through this and do the work, the workbooks, and all that stuff, and then follow the guide, and eventually, you will exit the poverty neighborhood. You will relocate from poverty neighborhood to rich place. It's your destiny. It's your inheritance in Christ, and we need to get wisdom. We need to get understanding. We need to know how to do it. As I always say, the most critical question in life is how. The moment you establish what you want, the most important question in life is how do I get it? How do I get there? And that's what we are providing for you. That's what we're providing because it's important. So, I'll read you a passage in the scriptures and we'll begin to look at it and see what is there for you and what is available. And maybe you are in debt. Maybe you are in debt and you want to come out of debt and then you want to progress, move from debt and then to come to the place of abundance. I think if that's your position or if that's your situation, you don't want to miss this study and you don't want to miss what is available and the wisdom that will be coming to you today. Someone that is in debt, even if you give them money, they are at minus zero. So you might give them money, they come to zero. But if they come to zero in terms of paying off their debt, they are still in zero. But what I want to share with you is not only how to get money and eliminate the debt, but how to cross the 0 point and begin to increase. Look with me in the book of 2 Kings chapter 4, and we'll start reading from verse number 1. Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elisha, saying, Thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord. And the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen. And Elisha said unto her, What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? And she said, Thy handmaid hath not anything in the house save a pot of oil. Then he said, Go, borrow thee vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went from him and shut the door upon her and upon her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said unto her son, Bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, There is not a vessel more. And the oil stayed. Then she came and told the man of God, and he said, Go, sell the oil and pay thy debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest. Praise God. Now, this is interesting when you read the scriptures, and remember, we are dealing with the issue of how to come out of poverty. And again, we are learning from the Bible. You see, I like to have people read from the scriptures so that they know where the source of wisdom is coming from. Because I want you to honor God, I want you to fall in love with the Bible. It's not just to share with you these insights and the wisdom of God, but I also want you to love the God of this wisdom, and by finding him and reading the scriptures for yourself as well. Now, I'd like you to notice that in the case of this woman, the husband was a prophet, was a servant of the Lord, and she had passed on. He had passed on rather, and the 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 man had left, debts for the widow and the two sons. Unfortunately, he had used his sons as a collateral and couldn't repay the debt. Well, I don't intend to go into analysis of all that, but the woman was left with a very crazy challenge, a very serious challenge. And, there's nothing as horrible as when your creditors start calling and start asking for their money. Maybe the time for the loan and all that has come and gone. It's time to pay. One thing about borrowing money is not just borrowing. It is time to pay. And so the woman was in a very great distress, and she ran to the man of God. And all that had happened, we could talk a whole lot about it. But I want you to learn something here. The man of God said to her, "What do you have?" He said, "I don't have nothing except a little oil." Now, this is where the solution begins. You see, I like you to find this important wisdom. And I don't want you to miss it. I want you to grasp this wisdom, I should say. I want you to grasp this wisdom, because this is where the trouble and the problem with people lies. What is the problem? One, they never believe they have what it takes to change their situation. But that's exactly what the man of God helped her to see. So, one, if you want to come out of poverty, if you want to eliminate lack, eliminate debts, and all of that, this is the first thing you do. Number one, create a product. Create a product. She had a little oil, but she says a very little oil. And in her mind, she considered it to be nothing, and that's the problem. You don't have to consider it nothing. Everyone has something that can take you out of where you are. You always have what is required to take you out of where you are and help you get started to where you want to go. And that thing that you have, you can start with, is a product. She said, "I have little oil, a product." And so what the man of God did was to help her understand that this is a product, start there. So create a product. Which products are with what you have? What do I have? Think about it for a moment. That's an important question you needed to answer yourself. Because you need to find out that there's something you have, a little oil. In the case of that woman, it was an oil. In your own case, it can be knowledge, it can be a skill, it can be a talent, just something you know what to do. Okay, I don't have a skill that I've gone to school to acquire, but maybe you know how to cook. What can you do with it? Create a product out of what you have. You do have something, so start with that. Create a product out of it. Make a product out of what you have. You see, that's the point. We live in an economic world where people exchange their money for value. And so you have to create a product out of what you have that could add value to people. That's what a product is. Something that could add value to people's life. So start there. It could be knowledge-based. It could be entertaining. could also be material, physical product. It could be crops, it could be one thing or the other. Start with what you have. Start with it. Make a product out of what you have. You do have something. Sure, you do have. Oftentimes, people do know that they have something, but never consider it to be big. Never consider it to be something that can take them out of poverty. No, you do have something. Now, this is important. Create a product. Again, what is a product? A product is something that could add value to people. And people are always 24/7 searching for product. Yeah. Yeah. All the time. All the time. People are looking for products. It could be for something they'll eat. It could be something they want to listen to, something they want to watch, or want to relax, whatever. Different, up to the spiritual products. Whatever it is that you have, make a product out of it. But that way, you are on your way out of poverty. Now, this is important. Create a product. Create a product. I like to say it again. Create a product. You might as well say with me, create a product. That's what it is. Product from what? What you have. What do I have? Think about it for a moment. In our previous study, I had explained something to you. I said, you see, your talents are strengths that you have, abilities that you have, that you exhibit, you manifest, that you use effortlessly. That is how you recognize a talent. Well, John C. Maxwell said talent is never enough. Attitude has a lot to do with it. But the point is this. When you recognize a product, then you are on your way to make something out of it. You can develop it, you can polish it, you can push it until it comes to a commercial value. So start by creating a product. Now, to create a product requires you to recognize what you have. And what you have could border from the spiritual to the physical to entertaining, which has to do with the emotional psychology thing. You can sing, you can have a voice, you can write a story, you can tell a story, you can just too many things that God has given you. So make a product out of them. The point here is that you need to sit down and take an inventory of yourself, of the strengths that you have. What is a strength? Your strength is those abilities that you have, that you can exhibit, that you can manifest without much struggles. You don't really need to learn to use them, to manifest them. That is your strength. Out of your passion, make a product out of it. You know, there's this thing I used to see on CNN many years ago. They said passion to portfolio. Passion to portfolio. Make a product out of it, out of your passion. Think about it for a moment. Think about it for a while. How can I convert my passion to become a product? Second thing I'd like you to see, don't just create product, or don't, now that you're going to create a product, the man said, get your sons. There are some products you may need to hire people. But in this case, the woman doesn't even have money to hire people. It was actually getting hands to help her. And you might need to get hands to help you. And usually start with the most closest people that will be less costly, that will be cost effective. He said, because these two sons are collateral already, they are going to take them as bond men. So they too need to participate. And sometimes you need to get those who are already in the same situation that want to go forward. Bring them along, share the idea with them, and then get them. So he said, get your sons. In other words, hire hands. Hire hands to help you. Hire hands to help you. And again, start with your immediate circle. That will be less costly. That will be cost effective. We live in a in the technological age, too many things now can be done. A lot of people can do a content on the social media just by putting their phone and put it out there, and your phone and all the things that are through technology have become hands you could have hired. Because again, when you're hiring hands, you're considering the cost. You have to be manage the cost and cut it to the barest minimum, because you're looking for money you don't want to spend, and you don't even have to spend. But because these people are also part of the trouble, not that they created it, but the trouble is already swallowing them. So they will be willing to do whatever that is necessary for them to come out of it. So such are people that could be part of these things. The important point there is that that product may need someone to help. So get it if it requires it, by the way. So get them to help you in order to produce your product. Are you there with me? Now that's important. The third thing that I like you to observe in that very thing, that on your way out. Now this is important if you're going to create business. But I'm not teaching on developing business today, which is another thing we'll talk about. But just surely want to show you how you come out of this. One, create a product. Two, get someone to work with you. That'll be fine. Of course, remember, if they work with you, they share in the profit. So you could talk with them and say, see how it is going. It all depends on your negotiation, if that's what it is. All right? Now, the third thing I want you to observe there, he said, he told them, he said, when you get that oil, go to your house, shut the door. In other words, get a place where you work. You may not have money to rent an office, but it actually can turn a part of where you are living and make it an office. All of these depend on attitude. It depends on how you see the place. It depends on how you look at it. And so you get a place. Why is that necessary? So that you can wake up and get there with a mindset, with a feeling, with an attitude that I am at work. Wow. Do you realize that what this financial mentor, financial deliverer taught this woman was to create a job for herself? She doesn't have to depend on the government. She doesn't have to depend on someone handing out something to her. She just have to create her own job and print her own money, by the way, because that's virtually what it would lead. So get a place where you work. It could be in your house still, but one corner of the house. It could be somewhere around where you probably would not have to pay, because she's not going to pay where she was living. They have a place where she lives. But you see, they had to turn it into a workplace. And if they turn it into a workplace, it has to have an attitude that this is my workplace. It carries a feeling that when I take my bath, wash, and then get dressed, I'm going to a place of work. In other words, I'm going to a place of productivity. It has a way to turn you on, both emotionally and even in your mind, so that you can engage and release and be creative. Why? Because, you see, what you call a place will affect how you behave in that place, will affect how you feel when you are in that place, will affect what you do in that place. Are you with me? You know, when you say this is my bedroom, that means your mind understands this as a place for rest, a place for all of that. But when you say this is my place of study, this is my study room, of course you are actually going to put in shelves and books and things that represents what, and that in your mind, in your mind, in your subconscious mind, it has that representation that when I'm here, I am here for this so and so reason, and it gets you to, it turns you on towards that direction in a manner that you begin to walk that way, feel that way, and think that way, and that puts you on a path of productivity and creativity, on a path of creativity which leads to productivity. Don't sit idle. Don't stay on the bed. Don't lie down on the bed dreaming of something that does not come. Get to work. Get to work. Get to work. Let me go through it again. Number one, create a product. Well, how do I create a product? Make a product out of what you have. What do I have? Surely you've got something. It could be a material thing, turn it into something. It could be a talent. It could be a skill you have acquired. A talent is something that you have from God. Simply abilities that you exhibit, you manifest without much struggle. That's natural to you, that comes to you with ease. And this can range from spiritual to physical to psychological, whatever it be. You can write stories, you can be funny. That means you can become a comedian. Whatever it is, just find out your strengths, whatever it is, and make a product out of it. Now, as I said before, we're living the age of technology, so things can be helping and very easy, very cheap. But if not, get someone they're going to charge me for what? They're going to ask me to pay. Well, it's better you hire those who are also in the same situation with you, but who want to come out of it. So let them participate in their own freedom as well. And as well, besides, you can negotiate it well. If the profit comes in, we have profit sharing, we share it. But that's how you start on your path out of lack, out of death, and on a path to abundance, to a freedom, a financial freedom. Make a product out of what you have. Hire hands. Thirdly, get a workplace so that you become responsible. When you say, this is my workplace, you become responsible. In other words, you wake up, take your shower, and you know that I am going to my workplace to do something. Because when you establish, this is my workplace, automatically you establish this in your mind that I have to get out and go to where I am working. Because now I've got work to do. Well, I don't have money to hire a place. No, you can make it in your house. Create one corner of the house. Create maybe your back side of the house. Just put something, set it up. This is a corner place, my workplace. Start from there. Because you have to consider cost in mind. So start from wherever you are. So long as what you can do, can be done decently and neatly without causing any damage to the home and to the place you're staying. Start there. That woman turned her house into a workshop. Yeah, that's interesting, you know. Because someone who is trying to come out of debt has to manage finances and cut costs at the barest minimum. And she did. And she did. She did exactly. Well, and I've shared with you the reasons why you need to call it a place, because once you do that and establish it in your mind will begin to work towards that way. As such that when you wake up, it reminds you that I have to go to work, because now you have established a workplace. And then it will tell you, I'm going to work. What am I going to do to produce the products that I have designed to do? And that will unleash creativity, which will lead to productivity and eventually take you out of poverty. Let me share with you another important point that is critical for you to know. Number 4, he said to them, go and borrow jars, empty jars. Go and borrow jars, empty jars, from your neighbors. Now, that's instructive. That's very instructive, very instructive. Go and borrow jars. Or are you starting this borrow campaign again? Well, you see, the point here is that you're going to make use of those containers that are not being put to use, where do I borrow your neighbor? What is neighbor? Those who share the same affinity with you. Reach out to them and get what is not working in their life and put it to work. That's basically what it means. It also shows you the stretch of your reach. Those who share the same affinity with you. You say empty jars. They've got things in their houses that they are not using. So go and get those things. Are you there? So borrow. My point here is this. When you say go and borrow jars From who? Your neighbors. Who are my neighbors? Immediate sphere of influence. People that shares affinity with you. Immediate sphere of influence. Are you still with me? Those who one way or the other connected what? To you. What am I supposed to borrow from them? Jars. What are the jars? These are sand clay, things that are connected to them that are not being put to use. But why would he borrow? Why would he turn his house to a workplace? Why would he use those as his co-laborers, those who are the same shoe, to manage cost? Answer: to manage cost. You want to manage cost. You don't want to engage in something that will cost you more money because you don't even have. Are you there with me? Now, this is important in wealth creation. It's important if you must come out of poverty. For whatever thing you want to start, for whatever thing you want to do, for whatever product you want to create, you have to do something that will be very, very cost effective. In other words, something that minimizes expenses. Manage cost. Manage cost. That's why he has to borrow. Borrow what? Empty jars. Something that they are not putting to use. In other words, they are not going to cost you anything to get it. So go get it from them. Number two, the people you are going to hire are people that are in the same situation with you that wants to come out. Your immediate sphere of influence. Why not get an office outside? No, you don't have the money for that. So start in your place. All of this is manage cost. So in other words, in the process of creating product and wealth creation, manage cost. Manage cost. Manage cost. How do I do that? Simple question. Always ask yourself, is there another way that this can be done without costing me so and so? Continue asking yourself that question. If you don't have it, you can check on Google, you can check on YouTube, you can go on the internet, ask a few questions around. You will find out that there is an answer. You know what the great and wise king said? He said, in a multitude of consultations on a project, success is sure. That is important. That's very powerful. Manage cost. That's why I said borrow. Jars empty, something that they are not using. Next point. Number 5. This is what he said. He said, when you go into your workplace, shut the door. Well, why will I shut the door? Is it going to affect the miracle? Yeah. Now, listen, I'm not talking about supernatural things. Yeah, grace will come upon things and God will do things. But see, I want to deal with something practical here. He said, shut the door. Why do you want to shut the door? You shut the door out of distraction. When you shut the door, you create an environment that is completely less distracted. You don't want anybody just come in and go out and all that. You want to focus on what you're doing. So you shut the door. And when you shut the door, it reminds you that I'm here for a business. I'm in here to do something. So you get going. But not only to shut out distraction that you are shutting the door. Are you with me? You are equally doing something very, very important. What is that? Protect your product. You must learn to protect your ideas. You must learn to protect what you're doing. You must learn to protect it and make sure that it is not just something that you want to do and people say they pirate it, they copy your style. Because when you shut the door, you have completely denied access to outsiders. In other words, they don't have access to come in. They don't have access to see. They don't have access to hear. They don't have access to know what is going on in there while the product is in process until it is what? Out. So that you can have it as the first person. Otherwise, people have this habit of pirating or even stealing your idea and patent it ahead of you, especially when it's still in the making process, by the way. Well, today we have all kinds of, regulations and laws that governs this type of things against piracy and against all of that. But you don't want to start the fight because you don't even have the money to start the fight, by the way, for litigation, for this and that. So do the necessary thing you can do and be a little bit wise in protecting that product. Now, I like to emphasize what I said there, and it's because I don't want you to miss it. Why do I shut the door? One, to remove distraction. Who is going to be distracted? You. Because now you need to come out of poverty and you need to really, really be focused on what you were doing. You don't want any kind of friend to come in and hello, hi, and cry with you and weep with you and sympathize with you without offering any help, by the way. And then they go out there and mock you as well. All that kind of stuff. You don't want all that. So what happens is that shut the door. When you shut the door, deny people access, distraction goes away. Now, the second thing that will happen if you shut that door is that you will be reminded that you are in here for a business. You didn't come there to sleep. It's your workplace. In other words, you're not entertaining any visitor that would come and take away your time. Remember, time is currency. Once you spend it, you're not going to bring it back. It's gone forever. So that you can make maximum use of the allotted time of your work period. Now, this is critically important. And as I said, not only distraction, the third one on the reason why you shut the door is that you protect your product, you protect your idea, you protect the content, you protect whatever that you're producing before people steal it. There are crazy people all around the world. You don't want anybody to pirate it. You don't want anybody to steal your idea. You don't want anybody to copy your style. You don't want anybody to steal what you are doing. Do you understand that Coca-Cola, you never produce Coca-Cola anywhere and they want it to be like Coca-Cola? Never. They never tell you this exact thing that they miss it. The same to Guinness. It's just them and that's it. The family pass it on to family and family. They protect that product. Because when you protect your product, you command monopoly of that product. That is part of your dominion. The next number that is there, that is important for us to learn, package that product. Package that product. And that was the purpose of the containers. In other words, borrow certain ideas from people in the sense of observe, open your eyes, see what they are doing that they are not using, or what is available to them they're not using. Take it from them and use it to package your product. Package your product. We live in a world today that is predominantly packaging. Everything is packaged. Package the product. Package the product. I'll say again, package the product. It must create a uniqueness. Because you see, your difference makes a difference. Your difference attracts. Okay, your difference attracts. So you have to understand that when you're packaging it. And one of the most important things in packaging is the look and feel. It's important that you package it in a manner that whoever sees it will like to want to ask, want to find out. It has to create curiosity. That curiosity is in the sense of it is fine. Nobody want to start with something crazy. Nobody want to start with something that is tattered or haggard. There's no touch of excellence in it. No. Nobody has time for that in this world now. You have to package it. And just like what exists today, people have all kinds of things on the internet, on softwares, if it has to do with that, where they can design so many things and make it in a manner that it's some like out of this world kind of thing. Even people are packaged. People are packaged. That's why women go to studio for makeup. They package their face. Sometimes when you see the person, you're wondering, is this the person I know or not? You just be looking at the name and be looking at the face. There seems to be a disconnection of what it represents in your mind by what you know before and what you are seeing on social media. That is Instagram. It's a place of packaging. Package your product. And in packaging, you must understand this, your uniqueness, look and feel. Of course, you have to consider those who your product is going to. And then take that in mind, and that will help you to be able to know how to package it, okay? So when we say package it, put it in something and let it be nice stuff for whatever thing that you're doing, and let it be something that also, reflects excellence in your life, because for that thing also attracts, it counts, and that also can add to its value. Okay? Once the product is packaged, that comes the last one, and that's where you begin to smile. Sell your product. Which people did you package this product for? Who are the people that you package this product for? Now, when you know, of course, you should have known this before you started creating the product. Then go to them. Where do you find them? Use the best available market. So long as that product has value in it, in a sense that it's going to add value to someone. I hope that would have added value to you and blessed you, but I do know that if you just commit to doing this, you will end up being blessed. Have a wonderful day.